President Trump getting straight to work, signing off on roughly 200 executive actions.
It's very simple. We're going to make our country great. We're going to make our country great again. We're going to make America great again. Let's see what happens, because we're not finished yet. We're not finished yet. We got a long way to go.
Some of those orders include withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Organization declaring a national emergency for energy, restoring the federal death penalty, and protecting public safety. He also declared a border emergency, ordered the wall to be built, ended catch and release, reinstated remain in Mexico, and classified drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Trump also immediately shut down the CBP-1 app, which fast-tracks migrant parole applications. That's gone. I want to bring in Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles. He's a member of the House Financial Services and Homeland Security Committees. He's also a member of the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, good morning. Your reaction in particular to the wide swath of action we saw on the border.
Well, you know, I had dinner with the president just a few days ago, and he was talking about 100 and 120 executive orders. And man, did he promise and deliver, I mean, hitting 200. But that being said, we all know that this country's been invaded over the last 4 years under the failed policies of Joe Biden. And that was kind of the referendum, that was the election, that we fix and secure the border. And that's what Donald Trump has done and will do as we get back to a normal immigration policy, fighting crime, and getting, you know, quite frankly, we're going to have a large deportation process as we go forward. People are here illegally. If you want to come here, you got to follow our laws. All
right. Well, you know, the other thing is the legal challenges. You know, of course, we're going to talk about this later in the show, but obviously the sanctuary cities, going after those violent criminals that are here in this country illegally, that threaten the safety of Americans. But we're already hearing and already seeing lawsuits when it comes to immigration changes under President Trump. This was expected, to be clear, but how does the Trump administration fight back against these legal challenges?
Well, at the end of the day, we're a nation of laws. You know, you expect the liberal left to try to weaponize the courts against the American people. That's what you saw with the Justice Department, that they're going to try to leverage the courts to really be complicit in breaking American law when it comes to immigration. But it's the right thing to do for Donald Trump to hold his ground, to push forward, and start deporting people. And if you're a mayor in one of the woke cities that is enabling illegal immigration, you should be punished. Your city should be punished. Again, we have rules for a reason. We have laws for a reason, and we've got to follow that. We've got to get back to it. And look, America is a safer place today because of Donald Trump. The world is a safer place, but part of that is the rule of law and getting back to normal order.
Yeah, well, American Civil Liberties Union, one of the first to sue, and this was moments after the inauguration, literally moments. All right, Congressman, so you recently introduced a bill. It gives President Trump the congressional authority to acquire Greenland. Tell us more about this.
Well, you know, for some that may sound a little bit crazy, but actually the United States has been eyeing Greenland for over 100 years. Strategically, when you look at it, it's wealthy in resources. And when you see increased activity with Russia and China in the Arctic Circle and the increased activity with the shipping lanes, it's important for the United States to assert itself and say, look, this is our doorstep. This is our area of operation. And we are, quite frankly, the dominant predator, if you will, but it's important that we fight back against China and send them back to their own hemisphere.
Okay, so do you think that we're going to enter into negotiations with Denmark over the purchase of Greenland? I mean, I've seen the minimum valuation at this thing at $1.5 trillion. If they're willing to sell, just a thought.
Exactly. It's kind of like when you start talking about tariffs. It's a tool to get people back to the negotiating table. Okay. It's important for Donald Trump to negotiate from a position of strength. And we start talking about acquiring Greenland. He's broadcasting to the world that we are back, we're in business, and quite frankly, America is great again.
All right, let's talk about business of the House as, of course, the work really gets underway today. The House Freedom Caucus has floated raising the corporate tax rate in states like New York, New Jersey, and California in exchange for easing the SALT cap deduction for individuals and families. I spoke with House Freedom Caucus Chairman Andy Harris about this yesterday. Watch what he told me.
I mean, the bottom line is this is not calling for a corporate tax increase. You know, New York and California can eliminate their corporate taxes, and then, of course, a SALT deduction limitation would have no effect. This is to get at those states like New York and California that have high corporate tax rates, and those corporations take advantage of federal tax law to deduct those taxes, so that in effect, the average U.S. taxpayer is subsidizing, you know, New York's and California's some of their craziness. You know, if California wants to have the free health care for illegal citizens, that's fine. Don't expect the U.S. taxpayer to subsidize.
But Congressman, you know, blue state Republicans, many of your colleagues in the House and also in the Senate, will say that because these rules have not been changed for so many years, that it's actually lower and middle income residents in these states that are suffering. Your firefighters, your police officers. How do you respond to that?
Well, I mean, again, part of this, John Quincy Adams loved the House of Representatives because it's where you argued and you debate, right? And so we put forward a proposal to start a dialogue. Look, we have a very thin majority in the House of Representatives. We're going to argue, we're going to debate, and at some point we're going to land the plane. But you start that conversation by putting forth this idea to see what New York, New Jersey, and California wants to do. And quite frankly, Tennessee, you know, when you look at our tax burden, we have a low per capita tax rate per individual versus California and New Jersey. We shouldn't be subsidizing states who are woke and, like the chairman said, you know, subsidizing health care for illegals. And so, again, we're starting that process. We're starting the dialogue. We'll continue to move forward to get to the best outcome.
Real quick before you go, are you supporting one bill or two when it comes to reconciliation?
Well, I love the idea of one big, beautiful bill, but at the end of the day, the larger it is, the more complex it is, the longer it's going to take to pass. And so whether it's 1, 2, or 7, it's got to be outcome driven, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay, well, with the majority that Republicans have right now, it's very slim. We shall see how this all goes with negotiations. Congressman Andy Ogles. Congressman, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. All right.